Now let us just hope this video is not removed from YouTube. The recent removal of a pro-Iran YouTube channel that used AI-generated Lego-style videos to mock Donald Trump has reignited a long-standing debate. Does YouTube exhibit a pro-American bias? And why does that matter for a global platform? At first glance, YouTube's decision appears to be standard enforcement of its community guidelines. The company stated that the channel violated rules around harmful or violent content. However, critics argue that similar satirical or politically charged content targeting non-Western figures often remains online. This raises concerns about selective enforcement, particularly when content challenges US political figures or aligns with narratives from countries like Iran. Hello, my name is Ashutosh Srivastav and I bring you the best from home and abroad. Now, the perception of bias is rooted in structure. YouTube is owned by Google, a US-based corporation that operates under American laws, political pressures, and cultural norms. This means decisions about moderation, algorithm design, and acceptable speech are often influenced directly or indirectly by US priorities. In geopolitical conflicts, this can translate into stricter scrutiny of content seen as anti-American or supportive of rival states. This becomes more complicated when we look at how YouTube's recommendation of algorithm works. Studies, including research from Princeton and UC Davis, suggest that the platform tends to reinforce users' existing beliefs and can even show signs of political bias. For example, right-leaning users found to receive more ideologically aligned and sometimes more extreme recommendation. Earlier investigations during the 2016 US election also suggested that YouTube's Up Next system disproportionately promoted content favorable to Trump over Hillary Clinton. While YouTube has denied intentional bias, arguing that recommendations reflect user behavior, the lack of transparency remains a major issue. Now, the platform does not fully disclose how its algorithm works, making independent scrutiny difficult. This opacity means that any hidden biases, whether political, cultural, or commercial, are hard to detect and harder to correct. So why is a potential pro-American bias problematic? First, YouTube is not just an American platform, it is a global public space used by billions. When moderation decisions appear to favor one country's narratives over others, it risks alienating international users and undermining trust. For audiences in regions like Middle East, Asia, or Africa, such actions can reinforce the perception that global tech platforms act as extensions of Western influence. Second, this kind of bias can shape global discourse. Algorithms decide what people see, what trends, and what gets amplified. If those systems consistently prioritize certain viewpoints, they can influence political opinions, public debates, and even election outcomes far beyond the United States. The third, inconsistent moderation creates confusion. If AI-generated satire is removed in one context but allowed in another, creators are left guessing where the line is. This uncertainty can lead to self-censorship, particularly for voices outside dominant geopolitical blocs. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge YouTube's challenge. The platform must balance free expression with preventing misinformation, propaganda, and harmful content, especially in an era where AI can rapidly generate convincing media. From the Russian invasion of Ukraine to ongoing geopolitical tensions, digital platforms have become key battlegrounds for information warfare. This brings us to a crucial question. Can one be critical of YouTube on YouTube itself? The answer is yes, but with limitations. Many creators openly criticize YouTube's policies, algorithms, and perceived biases on the platform itself. In fact, such content is common and often encouraged as part of open discourse, as I hope this will be. However, this criticism must stay within YouTube's community guidelines. Content that includes harassment, misinformation, or policy violations can still be removed even if the broader point is legitimate. In other words, criticism is allowed, but it exists within a controlled environment. YouTube sets the rules of the conversation, which means it ultimately decides what kind of criticism is acceptable. In conclusion, the banning of pro-Iran AI channel highlights a deeper issue: the difficulty of maintaining neutrality on a global platform governed by national frameworks and opaque algorithms. Whether or not YouTube intentionally promotes pro-American bias, the perception of bias alone can damage its credibility. For a platform of its scale, greater transparency, consistency, and global accountability are not just desirable, they are essential. If this video goes viral, I hope YouTube lets it stay. Thank you for watching.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.